And he's headed right now for his first checkered flag in 250 motocross action outdoors. We've got a study in contrast right here. Ricky Carmichael, who started in second, is currently in 17th. We said he didn't like to be a mud rider. And the mud riders from France, like Tortelli and Villeman, who got poor starts, are up knocking on the door right now. In this position earlier in the... Whoa, look at that! Ricky Carmichael comes right in and does a block pass on Tortelli.
Heard that first moto interview. I don't want to repeat his words, but he was obviously angry with what happened in Budds Creek. He wanted to come out here and set the record straight, beat Ricky Carmichael, and he's done it.
Well, those are some big names to put RC next to, huh?
He deserves it.
And it's a fact that only Jeff Ward has come off a 125 title and won a 250 title the next year, of which he would duplicate. So Ricky Carmichael will pass Ken Howerton on the all-time career list with his 33rd AMA victory. The checkered flag for Ricky Carmichael, and what a dominating victory, and the right time of the year for Ricky. So now, with a 40-point lead coming to Binghamton, New York, he needs to pick up only 10 points on Sebastian Tortelli, and the 250 #1 plate is his.
Earlier this summer in the 2000 AMA Chevy Trucks Nationals, Ricky Carmichael told us that his biggest goal besides winning the title was to get 4 wins in a row. Well, he's done it going into Binghamton. And today, Ricky, you go after number 5.
Yeah, I'm going after number 5 today, Davey, and I'm going to give it 100%. The championship is on the line this weekend, and there's a chance that I could clinch it. So, you know, I got a good gate pick for the first moto, and, you know, start is everything here because the first turn is really, really tight, and I'm going to give it 110% and try to pull off a 1-1 like Millville.
Well, later on today, we'll see if Ricky Carmichael can make it 5 in a row and maybe even clinch the 250 National Championship here at Binghamton.
Ricky Carmichael has the momentum, tries to pick up the #1 plate here today. Next to him on the lineup is Sebastian Tortelli, Kevin Windham, and David Villeman in the top 4. Also, 2 former champions in the 250 division, LaRocco and Albertine. Robbie Raynard has improved his performance in the last few races. And welcome back Doug Henry. Doug wanting to hold on to his number 19 plate, and being a former national champion, doesn't have to qualify for this race, but he needs 1 point to retain his number 19 plate for next year. This is the very track that he clinched his 250 outdoor championship on.
Also, Blair Morgan in the field today, number 734, who pretty much polished Doug off in the snowmobiling, but I think now here in the dirt, Doug may have the upper hand.
It'll be interesting to see how well Doug does getting that automatic qualifying. Not riding very much, but this young man has got a lot at stake. Ricky Carmichael, 7 wins on the season. That means he's tied the record of LaRocco, McGrath, and Emig with 7 wins in a 250 motocross season. Only one man has won more races in a single season in the 250s, and that is Bob Hanna, who has won 8. Ricky Carmichael could tie that today. Kevin Windham was in the title chase until Washougal when he got that 10th in the second moto. 1 win on the year overall for Tortelli. Green goggles?
I don't know. Those don't match. Might have something to do with Ricky over there on the inside. Now, Ricky's got the best position. That's where I would line up far to the inside to control the corner, but it didn't work for Ron Cotta. We'll see what happens.
They start to rev up now for the first moto of 250 action from Binghamton, New York. It's underway. Not a bad start for Ricky, but, oh, Mike LaRocco's got a nice edge. And on the inside, David Villeman will take the whole shot money. But Mike LaRocco with a great start. David Villeman out in front, 9:34. Number 5 is Mike LaRocco. And look at number 19. He's on a YZ250. Doug Henry, welcome back.
It's like he never left. The first start in a year, and the guy's right back up there where he used to belong.
That's incredible. David Villeman, though, has been racing well lately.
Look at Carmichael, just attack. Same thing McGrath does in the Supercross series. Even if he doesn't get the start he wants, he gets to the front, catches you by surprise. He doesn't wait for the second or third lap to get into the flow of things. He just catches you off guard right there and just attacks.
already in a freight train effect. Have to be back to about 7th place before you get the riders packed in. That's ferry number 15, Albertine, the defending series champion, and then Tortelli.
Whoa, you see how slick it is. You get just underneath that first couple inches of the loam they've added here, and then you get down to that rock base. Albie just found it. So it all looks great. Looks like you just get right on the power, but you still have to be a little bit careful and use some finesse.
Henry back and forth now as our leader continues to be Team Yamaha's David Villeman. Villeman was very much in the points race after the first 3 races of the year. In fact, he had the points lead, but then slipped to 4th and has been there all the way.
See, Doug got a little bit of washout as he headed up that jump, which cut more to the inside, ran over the hay bale, and he's still going. The guy's tough.
Villeman continues to lead, coming off 2 podiums in a row, a second at Washougal and a second at Millville. And look at Ricky Carmichael already starting to pressure on the first lap, David Villeman. Villeman a little slip and slide. They look like they touched tires there. Ricky Carmichael's got to be careful not to follow Villeman in a situation like that.
Villeman looks over and thinks he's got it clean, but he doesn't realize that his shadow is gaining on him. Must be frustrating to have to compete against a kid like Ricky Carmichael, who's so fast and so determined. He just can't stand anything other than first place. So it takes a little bit of the fun out of racing. You start to have to ride so fast, it's a little bit scary.
Sebastian Tortelli back in 10th. Needing only 10 points to clinch the championship, Ricky Carmichael is in great position right now.
Yeah, put yourself in Villeman's shoes right here. I mean, one tiny mistake. He doesn't even have to make a mistake, really, and Ricky's still in there running over his foot.
Carmichael to the inside. Villeman gets good acceleration on the outside. Now bar to bar. Ricky Carmichael determined to take the lead, cuts to the inside. What a great move. And what power on that move.
That's just sheer determination, and I am not going to let you have any more laps in the lead. It's over. This is my show. Beautiful the way Villeman clears the whole top of that. Watch Ricky. Watch how close he comes to going down. His front wheel turns all the way sideways. Actually works in his favor. Cuts the corner a little tighter. Doesn't let off till he's in the lead. Now he's starting to pull away a little bit.
Would this be something if Ricky Carmichael can pull off a 250 title in his very first year on a 250 bike? We'll be right back.
He's upside down. This one has to go like that.
Some children imagine that their father is the most powerful man in the world. Wonder where they got that idea. The 300 horsepower Silverado. The truck from Chevrolet.
ESPN the magazine.
Thank you for calling.
Dan, can I put you on hold? Dan Patrick wants a free Polo Fleece pullover.
He writes a column for the magazine. But he's not a new subscriber.
Sorry, Dan. No can do on the fleece. It's only for new subscribers. You mean you're actually calling to subscribe?
Everyone wants our warm, roomy Polar Fleece pullover. It has a half-zip front and embroidered ESPN the magazine logo. And best of all, it's free.
Stuart Scott wants the fleece.
Booyah!
Call now for ESPN the magazine and get your sports the way it ought to be. Big and bold, fast and furious. Get 26 issues, a year's worth for just $1 an issue. 66% off the newsstand price. And your fleece pullover is free.
It's Chris Berman. He could go all the way! Hello?
Call now. 1-800-672-5353.
In 5 billion years, Earth has never seen anything like it. The Honda Rubicon. 500 cc's of extraordinary power and the most advanced automatic ATV transmission to ever run the planet, the Honda-matic. When you're the best on Earth, Earth is your only competition.
all the racetracks on the AMA Chevy Trucks National Tour, Broome Tioga might offer the most obstacles. It's got sawdust, the big hills, the rocks, the stadium jumps, just about everything. So for this week's Kawasaki bike setup, we thought we'd ask John Dowd's mechanic, Jeremy Albrecht, what he's doing to prepare his rider's bike. Jeremy, what are you doing?
Well, basically for the rocks, you know that we're running hand guards, and we actually put an extra piece on the pipe for the dent so it can make it through the moto. And rear tire-wise, we run a little bit more open pattern for the uphills and loose sawdust, like you said, and the rocks. And probably thicker tubes. I would have to ask the Bridgestone guy about that, but thicker tubes we normally run here for the rocks. And suspension-wise, we stiffen up the front end a little bit for the downhills. And jetting, we've just richened it up quite a bit for the wide open uphills and downhills and all that stuff. So that's basically what we've done.
Let me ask you about the rider. You putting anything on John to protect him?
We should put a little shield on the front. He was trying to get it off one of these police motorcycles over there, but we're going to go ahead and leave that off, and he's just going to wear a chest protector.
Okay, well, we'll watch how John Dowd does. That's this week's Kawasaki bike setup.
Our first moto underway here at Binghamton, and Ricky Carmichael is trying to pull away now from David Villeman after just passing him. Here's Mike LaRocco, number 5 in third, and Tim Ferry. Ferry's had a very good year on a non-factory bike, the Chaparral Yamaha. There's Albertine, number 19, Doug Henry, followed by the 2 Team Hondas of Wyndham and Sebastian Tortelli. Those 2 going bar to bar for a moment. Now Tortelli pulls in front of Wyndham. Come out of that corner, and Kevin doesn't want to give it to him. Lots of off-camber on this track, and Tortelli now taking advantage of it.
This is a wide open place to pass here. The track 40, 50 feet wide. Look at that. Doug just gets the edge out of the corner. He pushes Tortelli wide. That gets Wyndham in there.
You know, it never was easy to pass Doug Henry.
It's still not. This is Team Honda. They can't do anything about it.
At least doesn't have the 4-stroke to throw the rocks up. And Wyndham gets by. Tortelli also getting by, finally, Doug Henry.
Well, Rocco kind of in a lonely ride by himself. Actually, looks like Ferry's starting to pick up slightly on him, and they've really opened it up over this, what I thought was a battle. It looks like it's going to shape up to be with the 2 Honda riders catching up to Albertine, looks like. Look at that double Wyndham's doing. That's technical. He almost lands off the racetrack there.
And puts the dirt and the rocks in Tortelli's face as they turn the corner.
Now watch this. Tortelli thinks he's got the line. He's going to try to get into the berm, and Doug's back in kind of swaps over into him. The same thing happens here. He can't quite get into that berm, and he gets pushed wide. That allows Kevin to come by on the inside. So these guys are jockeying back and forth, trying to find their way around. They both finally get it done right here in the same corner.
Remember, it was last year that Tortelli ran into the back of Henry that put him out for the season at Unadilla.
Yeah, he's over this guy. Where's Carmichael? That's what he wants to see.
Wyndham and Tortelli battling it out now, and Tortelli has the edge this time around.
Reaches up, clears his vision. Front wheel does a little dance there. These guys are starting to pick up a little bit of space now in Albertine, so this could turn into a battle. These are points, just like in the 125 class. Roncada coming from behind. Tortelli has to get these points to preserve the title.
Tortelli had the points lead until Unadilla last year. He had the points lead coming out of Unadilla by 4 points this year. But Shane Drew, his mechanic, looks concerned right now. The turning point, David, Troy, Ohio, after Unadilla, where he tweaked his ankle twice in both motos. Quite a serious injury, and that led to 3 fourth-place finishes over the next 3 races.
And while he was getting 4th, Ricky was winning all those events, and that's put him in the position he's in now. That's why you see the concerned look on Shane Drew's face, because his title is slipping away.
Greg Albertine announcing his retirement the week of Washougal. He's just kind of having fun right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, that must be the name of the game. You hear Pastrana talking about it all the time, and he's really putting together some fine rides. I thought once he announced that you know, the season would kind of start to slide a little bit. It'd be kind of a farewell tour, but he has been on the gas, putting in some fine rides.
And similar maybe to Stanton's first year in retirement. He's anxious to attend several events just to say hello and thanks to the fans. You don't have much time, really, when you're racing.
Well, you always got something going on. And I'll tell you what, Albertine's a great test rider. He's been testing the new bikes quite a bit. The new Suzuki's looking good. And you've seen the phenomenon of Travis come up, too, on the team. He's probably glad he doesn't have to race against him.
So we saw Team Honda trying to get around Henry. Now it's Team Kawasaki as John Dowd and Larry Ward do battle with Doug Henry.
This must have been kind of fun for Doug just to come out of sort of retirement and come in here just having a good time. Pete Steinbrecher came out here to be his mechanic.
Called him up and said, hey, you need a mechanic? Doug said, big smile on his face. I can see it right now. Come on. For John Dowd, number 16, his last national victory was here at Binghamton. That was on the 125. He's also got 2 wins on 250s here, so it's one of his favorite tracks.
Second place. Well, no, actually, look at this. Now they've caught him, I believe. LaRocco might have slowed down a little bit, and Henry and McGrath might have sped up as they have closed the gap. Probably cut it just about. Oh, my gosh, down the hill, Doug Henry. A major crash at the bottom of this jump, and Doug flips off the goggles, and oh, my goodness, looks to be in a lot of pain. There comes one of the corner workers over.
I can't believe what I just saw.
That was unbelievable.
The motocross world will never forget that moment in 1995 at Budds Creek, and then another one in 97 in which Henry needed help to get his goggles and helmet off. However, what will be remembered most about this crowd favorite is his perseverance and sheer determination to succeed. That, along with his ability, paved the way for this moment in 1998. Really got to hand it, I think, to Doug Henry for going through the learning process and sticking with it at the risk of maybe not winning a championship. And Doug Henry wins his very first 250 championship. The champion would announce his retirement the following season with 3 outdoor titles to his credit. But surprise, surprise, the only rider to win a title in a 4-stroke returned to action on the track that gave him that 250 title.
Binghamton's late in the year, and it's close to my house, so I figured I'd come down here, and I love the place. You know, Binghamton's a great track for me. I've done really good here. I'm just going to come out for this one to keep my number. You know, I want to run number 19 for as long as I can, and because next year I plan on doing a few more. So I wanted to come in here and just try and get my number so I can have it for next year.
There's no pressure on the former champ as he competes with his friends on a stock 250 bike.
Actually, the funny thing is I've been just riding stock bikes at home, and they sent me a works bike to ride, and the thing was so fast and so stiff, you know. I was like, there's no way I could ride this thing. You know, I haven't ridden. I'm not like in shape like I was before. I can't really can't hang on to this thing, so we ended up putting stock stuff back on it, so it's more stock than works right now.
A class act, and that 4-stroke you hear in the background is not Doug Henry for once. It's Shane King, number 110 on the KTM. Battling it out, though, with Doug.
What a move. Doug's got that section wired. I like the way he comes up over the top, drops right down to that berm. Look at that. He opens up a little gap over that whole pack. This guy can ride. You know, it's tough to sit out. You can ride all you want at home and think you're going fast, but racing is a whole different deal, and he's hanging tough.
Ricky Carmichael is way out in front, trying to nail down a championship. We'll be right back in a moment.
To commemorate the dawn of a new millennium, Collector's Mint has created a limited edition commemorative walking Liberty silver dollar for only $39.95. The U.S. Mint will strike millions of coins, but only 100,000 of these brilliant uncirculated coins can be sold. Each will be individually registered and minted with 1 ounce of pure silver, overlaid in 24-karat gold. And if you call now, you'll receive a collector's display case absolutely free. Call now to reserve your uncirculated heirloom for only $39.95. To order, call 1-800-242-4200.
Come to Williams Martial Arts and Fitness, where you can expect the best.
Call Williams Martial Arts and Fitness Center at 858-3800.
3 contestants, 4 panelists.
Sit down, young man.
An eminent host.
Your 2-minute drill begins now. Which Yankee
He's
shortstop?
the only Monday Night Football analyst to
Which
start
tiny
with.
point guard had 19?
Which manager was hired and fired 5 times?
NFL defenseman has been.
Which Houston Rockets forward?
One very hot seat. 2 of the toughest minutes on television. ESPN's 2-Minute Drill, the ultimate sports quiz show. Premiering tomorrow at 7 p.m. Hosted by Kenny Mayne.
A big development while we were away. Number 21, Sebastian Tortelli, second on the points list to Ricky Carmichael, who's winning this race, is having all kinds of problems. He went down hard, and the bike is in horrible condition. Here's Ricky, who's just burning the track up. This kid is doing things that other people don't even think of at speed.
He's just so motivated. He's so full of fire. I've compared him to Lance Armstrong before, and the reason I say that is because Lance has the ability to access all that anger, all that motivation at any given time to do what he needs to do, and Ricky has that same fire. He's able to go so fast when other guys are backing down.
Chad Watts is mechanic. Well, Ricky put himself behind the 8 ball with that 12-12 in 2 motos at Mount Morris for an 11th overall. He made up his mind. Wins are a must to make up for those bad motos, and that's exactly what he's done. Since that folly in the mud in Mount Morris, he's won 6 of the 7 races, taking a second in the other. And 9 of 14 motos.
Now he's looking back right now, wondering where that number 21 is, and there he is. Bent handlebars, the back end is sagging. I don't think he's going to be able to finish, Art. Look at the bike.
Well, this could be the determining factor for the championship right now.
Well, all Ricky needed was 10 points, and Sebastian's well outside of that right now. Albie's starting to gain time. He's been getting faster and faster during this moto. He's pinning it, hitting whatever hole he has to hit. See, he's caught Ferry, feet off the pegs and all. This guy's going for it.
Morocco's getting some company now as Tim Ferry and Albertine start to pull up on him. Let's go down to the pit area. Davey.
Guys down here in the mechanics area, terrible break for Sebastian Tortelli. It looks like the subframe of his Honda is broken. He had a big crash up on top of the hill. If you get a look at this, the handlebar, you can see the clutch side's bent down. And the mechanics there, Shane Drew, Mike Gosler pulling the seat back. Tortelli with a DNF. That's going to inch Carmichael closer to the national championship.
So the former 2-time GP world champion sees another chance at American title go astray. Last year, number 1 in the points, injury took him out of the game. This year, just hard luck and hard times, and a very fast Ricky Carmichael has taken him out of the points race this year. Tim Ferry, another consistent performance after his best moto of his career, a second in the opening moto at Millville. He's trying to hold off a very determined Greg Albertine. Albie would just love to win an overall before his career ends here in America. And he takes the inside route to pass number 15, Tim Ferry.
That was impressive because he just had to do all muscle, all sheer determination. The same thing we're seeing out front from Carmichael. Just muscling the bike around and keeping it wide open. Ferry wasn't really willing to go that fast. You can see him already looking over his shoulder a little bit like, okay, who else is back there because I'm about ready to shut it down. Towards the end of the moto, and it doesn't look like he's got what it takes to keep the pace with Albie right now.
So Albertine moves into 4th. Behind Mike LaRocco in 3rd. Villeman still in 2nd place. But here's our leader, dominating another moto, Ricky Carmichael.
Looking good through the Supercross sections. I know that's got to be on his mind now that he's waxed everybody in this outdoor series. That indoor thing is really bugging him. I know he'd like to get in there and battle with McGrath. He knows he has the speed. He trains hard enough. He's just got to be a little craftier to deal with Jeremy.
Just the technique. Kevin Windham, number 14, on the move. A winner here last year is not having that good a time of it. Let's go to Davey now with Sebastian.
Sebastian, that was a terrible crash up on top of the hill. What happened?
Yeah, I was into a rut and the stone was sticking out. I didn't see it and it just made me go sideways. So, I mean, that was a big crash, but, you know, I feel good and I broke the bike, you know. That was my fault, so hopefully I'm going to get good on second moto.
Did you hurt yourself at all?
No, I'm good. I'm very good. Nothing is wrong with myself. So, I mean, I'll be 100% for next moto.
So a very disappointed Sebastian Tortelli trying not to make it sound that way.
Yeah, he still sounds all optimistic, but You know, you can pretty much see the look on his face. He realized this championship would be a miracle if he was able to grab it.
Kevin Windham, of course, it's been published that he has signed a multi-year deal, multi-million-dollar deal as well with Team Suzuki. As we go to our second place rider right now is David Villeman. Villeman already has one more year to go on his Yamaha contract. Sleeves rolled up. He's had a good race.
Well, from our standpoint, it looks like he has, but I don't think he's happy with it. He led early. Carmichael got around and just wasn't able to keep pace with him.
Our next telecast will be the final round of the season. Hope you can join us then. Checkers will be waiting for this moto when we return.
He's upside down. This one has to go like that.
Some children imagine that their father is the most powerful man in the world. Wonder where they got that idea. The 300 horsepower Silverado. The truck from Chevrolet.
I'm coming for you! The Suzuki King Quad is the only all-terrain vehicle that has a 3-speed sub-transmission and locking front differential that allows you to transfer power equally to all 4 wheels to get you where you need to go. I'm coming! I almost lost you there. The King Quad from Suzuki.
Where the heck is everybody? I'm glad you asked. The success of 3Play from ESPN.com has been tremendous. And now on one of these Nokia mobile phones, you can play just about anywhere. For example, at the country club, dining al fresco, going out to the Hamptons. 3Play from ESPN.com. It's free. It's sports. Give me the briefcase. It's money. Presented by Nokia mobile phones.
Team Honda's Sebastian Tortelli forced to stand by the sideline and watch his rival take the checkered flag once again. Actually, the white flag is out for the final lap as Ricky Carmichael now can take just a Sunday ride around the track. Acknowledge the fans. He's a very popular rider, and he really deserves those cheers on this day. Looking for his 4th consecutive moto victory.
You know, looking at his age, where he is in his career right now, and as many wins he has in the 125, and he's racked up already in the 250s, records are going to go down. He may be the guy that holds them all like Jeremy does indoors, because this kid is flat unbeatable outdoors from what I've seen.
Ricky Carmichael on the verge of becoming one of only 2 riders to ever graduate from the 125 ranks as a titleist and win the crown in the 250s the very next year. Of course, the other one was the legendary Jeff Ward, also on a Kawasaki. Boy, it's going to be something for years to come to see this guy. As you mentioned his age, he's still a youngster at the game, David Bailey, but when he gets matched up with Travis Pastrana and the rest of the youth core that's coming up behind him, wow. The checkered flag for Ricky Carmichael. To the cheers of the fans. Villeman takes the 2nd place. Larocco a good 3rd, and Greg Albertine and Ferry rounding out the top 5. Let's go down to hear from the winner and Davey Coons.
Ricky, I got to tell you, that was a command performance.
Thanks, Davey. Got a pretty decent start again, and it feels good. I'm one step closer. I kept trying to look back where Sebastian was, and I seen him, and then I didn't see him, and I don't know what happened, but David got the whole shot, and I had to get by him and rode my own race, and I'm feeling good.
Back to that one-step thing, you're actually 25 steps closer. Tortelli DNF'd. He crashed hard, broke the Honda.
I feel bad for him. You know, he's a great competitor. He's a good sport. He's good sportsmanship, and I'm sad to hear about that. But at this point, I'll take it any way I can get it.
Coming off 2 consecutive 2nd place finishes over the last 2 races, number 934 got the whole shot and takes the 2nd place here today.
David, that was a good start and a good race, but Carmichael got you early.
Yeah, I did a great start. You know, my Yamaha was really good, and my Bridgestone tire get me the whole shot on the concrete. And you know, it was tough. You know, the track is very rough, and I did not have good line too much. And towards the end, I could find some good lines. And Ricky was very, very fast. And I think I can set my bike better for second moto, and maybe race with Ricky.
Travis Pastrana's won 4 motos in a row. Can he win his 3rd overall in a row? Coming up next.
I've heard people say that too much of anything is not good for you, baby. But I don't know about that. It doesn't seem to me like it's enough. It's just not enough. My darling, I can't get enough of your love, baby.
One look at the Yamaha Roadstar, the world's biggest V-twin cruiser, and you won't be able to get enough either.
You know, ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? If so, Invention Submission Corporation has information to help you get started. ISC is America's largest inventor service firm. Call now and learn how to submit your idea to companies through ISC's databank and apply for a patent. Even if your idea is just to improve an existing product, call for ISC's free information.
For your inventor's information, call 1-800-652-0101.
I'm Dan Patrick here in the ESPN Radio Chopper. Radio marketing is all about promotions. That's why we're blanketing the country with these ESPN radio bats. So tune in, and if you happen to catch one of these bats, enjoy!
The Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross Series is brought to you by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and ATVs. 125 action, second moto. These two guys battling it out for the championship, and Stefan Roncada stalls the bike there at the starting gate. Gets it started just in time as we await the drop of the gate. Can Travis Pastrana pick up more points than number 26? Can 26 hold on to the points lead? After this moto, only one race remains.
Well, it looked like Roncada had a little bit of an edge coming out of the starting line, but Travis left it on into the corner, had the inside. So I think in his mind, as long as he's ahead of Roncada, things are good.
Justin Buckaloo getting the whole shot honors. And it looked like Nathan Ramsey right behind him on the Split Fire Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Travis Pastrana in third. Roncada better start this time, David.
Looks like he's inside the top 5, and he's able to see Travis Pastrana, something different than the first moto, to beat him in this moto to make things easier next week.
He's got to be feeling the pressure right now, though, David, especially after that first moto.
Well, here's what's so hard, too, Art, is when you start to get nervous and you know you're behind the 8 ball a little bit. He didn't get off to the starting line and beat Travis off the line, so he's got all the pressure, and it's harder to ride like that when you're competing against a kid like Travis who's just having so much fun.
Great action on our second 125 moto. There's Nathan Ramsey. And Pastrana gets by Ramsey right there at the corner. Number 26, Stefan Roncada. He's the next test for Nathan. Bar to bar we go. Roncada trying to stay up with Travis Pastrana. Makes the move inside. And maybe we're going to see a one-on-one shootout here pretty soon. Justin Buckaloo is still our leader, but here goes Travis Pastrana. Great speed, and then he's got the off-camber.
Boy, a carbon copy of the first moto. He loves that downhill. Just attacking these guys early in the race. That's how you catch people off guard when they're still trying to figure out the track. What's changed since the last moto, and a lot, by the way. It's a lot rougher. The lines are different, and Travis is attacking it. Everything's working out right. He squares that corner, hits all the smooth lines. Look at this right here. Wheelies the big bump. Doesn't get as much a wheel hop that time. Gets just by in front of Buckaloo. Controls the inside. He can go as slow as he wants right there. He's still got the lead.
Buckaloo having to be polite because he had to step on the brakes a little bit.
He's going to be real polite with Roncada back there now.
Stefan Roncada in third.
Yeah, there it is. He looks over and guarantee you this is not going to be a fight. Roncada needs to get right by and challenge Pastrana.
Pastrana with a win if Roncada finishes in second, would still gain 3 more points on Roncada going into the final event, the final 2 motos of the year.
I mean, take a look at all the teammates that Ron Cotta has out there. I mean, we keep getting these guys mixed up. Number 26, 28, 29, about the same build, the same gear, bikes. He's got all that help. Travis has nobody.
Travis in good position, though, for not having anybody out there.
Well, he just keeps getting the starts, doing what he has to do. I mean, you make your own luck out there in a lot of ways, I believe, and Travis is doing just that by getting the starts he needs, getting ahead of his competition, and letting all those crashes and weird things that go on in motocross happen back there behind him.
If they were to finish this moto in exactly the same position, Pastrana in first and Ron Cotta in second, Ron Cotta would go into the final race of the year with a mere 6-point lead.
I can't remember since Bud's Creek, these guys really getting together. At that time, Ron Cotta was the guy that won the race.
The stage is set for a great 125 moto. We'll be right back.
When Suzuki introduced the original 4-stroke DR350 and dual sport 350, it rocked motorcycling. Now, it's happening all over again. Introducing the all-new DRZ400 and DRZ400S from Suzuki. 4-stroke thunder. On-road or off.
You know, sometimes we don't see ourselves the way we really are. I saw a recent photo of myself and I couldn't believe how much hair I had lost. I didn't want to look 45 at the age of 30. That's when I called 1-800-HAIR-CLUB to get Hair Club's latest brochure, the Hair Loss Research Update. It gave me the answers I was looking for. Now that I am a Hair Club client, I feel that I look my real age. I'm just sorry I didn't do it sooner.
You can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now.
While we are away, take a look at this. Travis Pastrana. Boy, he almost bought the farm, but he looks under control all the time.
Even out of control, he looks in control. Look how close that was. Watch him kick this rock back out of the way with his front wheel. Bam, a big, I don't know, softball-sized rock right there. And I guarantee you Phil Alderton and Eric Kehoe right now of Yamaha of Troy are going, oh, wait a minute, let me see the rules. And what Travis did there was no problem. He didn't pick up a position. He didn't impede anyone's progress. He just made a great save.
So Ron Cotta, though, gets closer and closer to first place as we see his teammates Ernesto Fonseca and Casey Johnson going at it against each other. Johnson, number 29. Fonseca, number 28. Buckaloo, number 158.
Going back to Eric Kehoe and Phil Alderton, you know they're just hoping, man, if a couple of these guys can get in there and mess with Pastrana, it would sure help. They've got so many riders out there in good position, but they just can't get up there and battle with them.
For the top 5 from Yamaha of Troy. There's Sellards 18. In the split fire guys. Ramsey and Volan, number 711.
Not a good start for Volan. He's just soaking up all those rocks, all the roost. In the course of the day, you see more rocks starting to come up. Those hurt. I mean, we're sitting here going, yeah, it looks like it might hurt a little bit. Now, when you're out there, it really hurts. You get hit in the top of the helmet, and your head rings a little bit. I've seen guys come in with broken visors. The lens comes out of the goggles.
Well, the 1 year at Unadilla, too, Mike Kudrowski broke a bone in the back of his hand. Took him right out of the season, effectively, anyway.
And there's that line again. Volan's got that corner wired. I think he's going through there faster than Pastrana.
Number 715 is Ivan Tedesco. He's coming off his best finish of the year at Millville at 12th, but also coming off his best moto finish earlier today in Moto 1. He took an 8th place, and he's in the front of the freight train right now. But Sellards has given him some heat. Tedesco opening up some eyes.
Yeah, he's opening up the eyes of Sellards right now, who's not able to really close on him much. It's not like he's holding him up. He's holding his own. You're talking about Sellards back there, Bolin.
Not to mention Nathan Ramsey behind Bolin. Bolin just passing him.
Yeah, these are heavy hitters, and Tedesco's doing a great job. I mean, it's not like he's riding over his head either. He's obviously very comfortable out here on this racetrack. Hopped into that corner off the breaker bump, clears this double, taps the brake, sets the nose down. He's doing everything right. Just a matter of how long can he do it. That's a lot of pressure.
Sellards, number 18, with only 2 podiums this year. One was a win, though, a sweep at Troy. The other was a 3rd place at Budds Creek. But it's been a tough season for him. He expected more out of himself.
I expected a little bit more out of him as well. But like you said, I think it just really kind of took his momentum away when he lost the Supercross title. So close after leading it the whole way. Came into the outdoor season and things just didn't really fire right away, and that kind of sets the mood. And I thought once he got that win at Troy, we talked about that first moto, that might just be what he needed, but he's struggled since, and starts have been a problem for him.
One more year on his 125 Honda contract. It's always a secure feeling going into a season when you're not doing well. You've got at least one more year to show your stuff, but he almost wishes he could move to a 250 with the size and the weight that he's getting. Talon Bolin. He's a never give up guy, though, no matter what place he's in. Talon with 6 podiums this year, but no wins. As we see Sellards making the pass on Tedesco. Upset the youngster a little bit, but they didn't touch.
Watch Tedesco right here, goes a little bit wide. Realizes Sellards means business.
I take it back. The rear wheel of Sellards got a little clip on him.
Good recovery right there by Tedesco, and that's got to interrupt his rhythm a little bit, and there goes Bolin. So he's trying all he can, using every trick he has to try to hold these guys off, and as soon as Sellards got around, just kind of opened the floodgates. Here they all come, all the pressure, and that's the thing that you have to deal with a 3-digit number when you're getting into the pros, is getting used to all that pressure and be able to ride up to your ability amongst it.
Tedesco with Plano Honda support, and Brock Sellards with FMF Honda support. Pastrana still our leader and is pulling away from the 2nd place rider, Stefan Roncada. We'll be right back with more 125 action after this.
Every day, AmeriDebt helps more people with money problems.
My credit card debt was outrageous. Then I called AmeriDebt. They contacted my creditors and got my payments almost cut in half.
AmeriDebt is a nonprofit organization that offers free consultations to consumers seeking to eliminate their debt.
Every month I pay our credit card bills, but the balances never seem to get smaller.
AmeriDebt got our interest rates reduced, and now the balances are dropping dramatically.
Join the thousands of people who have turned their financial lives around. Call 1-800-206-4488.
These guys are different. I mean, you can tell. They take pride in what they do. They moved our entire family, everything we own, across the country. Now that's a big job. I was worried, but they got us there on time. They made a promise, and they kept it. They're JK Moving and Storage. I know, it's not rocket science, but they treat it like it is. JK Moving and Storage. These guys are different. They really care.
College football Saturday at noon.
Maryland's Lamont Jordan, one of the best backs I saw all of last year.
Can they top the Mountaineers? Then at 6.
Indiana quarterback Antoine Randall L. can run, throw, and everything in between.
He'll face the Kentucky Gunslinger. At 9, Derek Nix takes on the Tide in the electrifying Freddie Millers. College game day at 11 on ESPN, followed by Maryland versus West Virginia at noon. Indiana versus Kentucky at 6. Southern Miss versus Alabama at 9. Saturday on ESPN2.
Welcome back to Binghamton, New York. This is the penultimate round of AMA Motocross. Only one more event after this one, and that's in Belmont, Pennsylvania. There's Tedesco, number 715, trying to hold off Nathan Ramsey. as Pastrana leads the second moto after winning the first moto. He can cinch it up and come ever so close to Roncada before that showdown at Delmont. Ramsey, a good job getting by cleanly. There you see the order of things. Pastrana, Roncada, Casey Johnson moving ahead of Ernesto Fonseca into third.
Ramsey just knocking on the door until he finally got on the nerves of Tedesco. Just comes in here on the inside, gets into the inside berm. Tedesco still thinks he's got a little something for him, but backs out of this triple. Remember, Ramsey was a Supercross champion not long ago, and he clears that thing and picks up the spot.
Brandon Jessamine went down hard, and he'll be out of this race. Let's check in now with Davey Coombs. Davey?
Brandon Jessman's not the only rider out here in the second moto. Behind me, you see the Frenchman, Roderick Thane. KTM rider also dropped out. He had a crash early. By the way, it looks like Thane will be riding a Suzuki next year. Going to ride a 125 Suzuki for Roger DeCoster's new B team, which I think is going to be the A.M. Leonard Suzuki 125 team.
RacerX publisher Scoop, Davey Coombs. As we take a look at number 26, Roncada, a lonely ride in second place. Unfortunately for him, as the mechanics board now, Dan Worley, reminding him to focus ahead, look ahead. Let's make up some time on Pastrana. Earlier in the season, Roncada looking so fast, but it's got to be a frustrating time of it, having to come from behind. Let's check in with Davey once again.
Dan, I know you guys are in this battle with Travis. How do you get Steppen to pick up that extra click?
I don't know. He needs to make up time somewhere. I don't know. He just needs to keep pushing and digging deep in the corners and just try making up time wherever he can.
Do you think that your rider is stronger than Pastrana is?
Pastrana's riding really good, but I think Steffen can come through and pick it up a little bit more. He just needs to find the right lines and stay smooth, and he should be able to do it.
Well, do you sense a little doubt there, Art?
I sure do.
It took way too long for him to answer that question, and I'll tell you what, I don't know that I could have answered it any better in his position. It's just that Steffen has lost that little bit of edge. The momentum has shifted into the camp of Pastrana, and right now he's just got to be, I don't know. I mean, he's got to get something from somewhere and be real lucky next week to hold on to this championship.
With Ricky Carmichael, whoa, look out! Casey Johnson went flying. He left the bike in midair, and he's not getting up quickly.
It's like when he landed backwards on his feet and stumbled into the bike.
Fonseca jumping, almost hit the flagman. The flagman, though, is out there to protect Casey Johnson. He did a great job at jumping into the action. There's Eric Kehoe trying to slow the riders down. Yellow flag needs to be about 100 yards in front.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough spot to move around right there. Those guys have to hit that double and make the commitment in the air. They don't have much time to react once they hit the ground, but I think all the riders know what they're doing. It just looks scary.
The team manager of Yamaha of Troy was right there, Eric Kehoe, in that area to try to save the situation for Casey Johnson, who was laying on the ground. Here's Talon Vola. And Fonseca right behind him, and that's Sellards behind Fonseca.
Well, Bolin is the guy on the move in this pack. Look how hard these guys ride. One little mistake on these 125s, and you just don't get it back. Everyone's so fast now. It just comes down to who can make the fewest mistakes and get the greatest start.
Whoa, look at that leap. Fonseca trying to catch up with Talon Bolin.
He's keeping the pressure on, but Bolin's not the kind of guy that worries about what's going on behind him. He's just thinking about how much more he can make up before the end of this race.
Pastrana still our leader. Roncada holding on to second, but Bolin's in third. We'll be back.
Meet Martin Licious, Storm Chaser. Some head for the basement. He heads for a Chevy S10. It's got advantages over Ford Ranger, like better fuel economy, a bigger bed, and standard four-wheel anti-lock brakes on every model. Because if you want to outrun Mother Nature, you need every advantage you can get. Chevy S10, like a rock.
Call toll-free to get free information by mail about the Craftmatic Model 2 adjustable bed. This wonderful bed adjusts to hundreds of relaxing positions, offers optional warm, soothing heat, and relaxing built-in massage, yet costs up to 56% less than these quality flat beds. Don't pay more to remain flat. Call toll-free and get complete free facts by mail about the adjustable bed that costs up to 56% less.
Call toll-free 1-800-344-8300.
This Wednesday, Pennant Fever heats up on ESPN and ESPN2. At 7 on ESPN, the Red Sox battle the Indians for a wild card berth. On ESPN2 at 7, the Yankees take on Carlos Delgado and the Jays. Then at 10 on ESPN, the Royals nip at the Mariners. While on ESPN2, it's the Dodgers D-backs in a wild card tug-of-war. At 7, Red Sox Indians, Blue Jays Yankees. At 10, Royals Mariners, Dodgers D-backs, Wednesday.
Time running out here in our second 125 moto, but you wouldn't know it by watching these guys. Fonseca and Sellards going at it.
Look at Sellards, just doesn't give Fonseca any room on the racetrack at all. Just trying to run him off the track so they don't have to deal with him anymore. Then he can go after Volan. Seems like he's the guy with the most motivation in this pack right now. Watch this move right here, down the inside. Tries to get it done right there, realizes he can't. He kind of chicken to go out there and run into him at that point. But right here, he's got the better line, takes advantage of it.
And Casey Johnson, who was running in third, is still down. They've been very careful not to move him. There goes Ron Cotta flying by, number 26. It doesn't look good. Brian Keeney is right there from the Yamaha of Troy group. Here's Talon Volan, number 711.
Got a little cushion over Sellards. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Sellards is trying so hard. I always used to like the very end of the race. Here's another look at Casey Johnson. I think he may have hit a rut or something right away, or a rock, and just sent the back end completely out from underneath him. And then he landed kind of sitting on the handlebar, sort of. He landed on his feet on the bike, got all twisted up in it. That couldn't have helped.
So it looks like a leg injury for Casey Johnson. We're on the final lap, the white flag lap. Pastrana way out in front. Stefan Roncada in second place. Roncada has a fight for his life if he hopes to win the championship in the final event at Delmont. Pastrana has just made an incredible comeback.
Look at how close these guys are getting to Roncada now. This battle is real. These guys have picked up the pace. This could be a three-way battle down the stretch as Sellards has forced the issue.
Brock Sellards, number 18. Track really getting rutted and rough.
Difficult to see through there in those shadows. And you got to be right in that line. You drift out of it and you get into some of that soft stuff and you lose the power. And other places you hit the hard slick stuff and slide out.
Now Pastrana's really disappointed. He wanted to wheelie that whole hill. Here comes Sellards down the inside. Volan tries the outside. Whoa, they catch wheels. Volan goes down. Sellards moves up a spot. Volan tries to restart and not lose a position. Other than to Sellards, that is. And here's our leader, Travis Pastrana. He's having a great time.
Well, things are just going his way. This kid's making it happen. I mean, he's doing a heel clicker over a jump that Casey Johnson just ended his day on.
Are the stars right every 10 years for Suzuki? They've won a 125 title in 1980, 1990, and I don't know about this year. It's coming down to the final event, obviously. Pastrana looking for his 5th moto win in a row, his 3rd overall victory. Travis Pastrana, what's he got up his sleeve here?
He's got the biggest bag of tricks I've ever seen.
The crowd anticipating something. Oh, just land with no hands. Checkered flag and all. Travis Pastrana wins another one. He's closing the gap on Stefan Roncada. Brock Sellards picking off a 3rd. Volan and Fonseca rounding out the top 5. I wonder if he's having fun. Well, we'll check it out with Davey.
Well, Travis, another moto win. That's 5 in a row. And now you control your own destiny. Steel City, it's winner take all.
Steel City, I said at the beginning of the year, I want to be within 6 points. hoping to be a little further, but I'm 6 points, so it's perfect. I control my destiny. Stefan is riding awesome. He's been hurt with a little bit with his knee, so still, he's going to be really tough come next weekend. Every week he's been getting better, so he had a great battle at the beginning. I was riding harder, faster than I've ever done in my entire life in the beginning of that moto. So
it seemed like as the race went on, you kind of kept your composure. He was right there, but just little by little, you pulled away. In fact, I'd almost say you broke him halfway through the moto.
Yeah, that was my goal for sure. I tried my hardest. We both came out to great starts, got around the other guys pretty quick, and you know they're not slow, so it was definitely riding as fast as I could go, and I'm sure he was doing the same. But next weekend he still got a 6-point lead, but for a rookie year, I couldn't ask for anything better than this. I just really like to thank Suzuki for supporting me. One more thing, Lee McCullum, he's always really serious on the pit board, always writing like, you know, exactly what I need to do.
I'm looking at it.
This time, he wrote a smiley face. Lee's getting into it. Thank you.
Way to go, Travis. Great ride, man. Great job.
Taking a look at the overall picture, Pastrana with a sweep. Stefan Moncada takes a second. Talon Bolin with a 4-4. Good enough for a third place. Sellers and Fonseca rounding out the top 5. Back to Davey.
Stefan, you got one more race to go. It's down to 6 points after that moto.
Well, it's not too bad compared to what I lost last week. You know, I had a pretty good day today. You know, a good start, and the only thing I can say is that I gave it 110% out there, and I've been off the bike for so long that it was just not enough. You know, Travis was too fast, and I couldn't catch him today. So I'm gonna regroup and train really hard next week. Now that my knee is better, and hopefully get my speed back in Steel City, because I'd like to finish the season, you know, with a 1-1. That'd be awesome.
And a 1-1 would get you the championship.
Yeah, 1-1 would get the championship. So I mean, whatever I think, I'm just gonna go there and try to win. You know. And, you know, I'm just happy to be where I am, and hopefully everything will go good at Steel City. That's all I can hope, and I'm just going to give it 110%. That's it. Just having fun.
Should be a great race next week.
Well, I hope so. You know, I hope we both get a good start, and I hope there is a great battle for the championship, because this is not going to be an easy win, so it's going to be great for the fans. So it's good. It's all good.
Stefan Moncada not with the happy face that we're used to seeing from him. He's concerned, and he's got good reason. On the Suzuki point standings, his lead has been shaved to 6 points. Bolin, Sellers, and Johnson rounding out the top 5. Coming up next, it's the second to the last race for Greg Albertine, the defending series champion. Can Ricky Carmichael take his #1 plate?
Hi. Friday's great. Email. It's kind of slow.
Styling, performance, value. Isn't technology great? The Suzuki Katana.
Every day, Ameridebt helps more people with money problems.
My credit card debt was outrageous. Then I called Ameridebt. They contacted my creditors and got my payments almost cut in half.
Ameridebt is a non-profit organization that offers free consultations to consumers seeking to eliminate their debt.
Every month I pay our credit card bills, but the balances never seem to get smaller.
Ameridebt got our interest rates reduced, and now the balances are dropping dramatically.
Call 1-800-848-4600. Ameridebt, helping America get out of debt.
ESPN's 2-Minute Drill premieres tomorrow at 7.
Down here on the starting gate for the start of the second 250 moto, I'm with 3-time national champion Doug Henry, and actually semi-retired Doug Henry. Doug, how was the first moto?
It was a lot of fun. You know, I got out there, I got a good start, and I was like, you know, I was so happy to be running up front for a little while, and just kind of got a little tight and a little bit tired, and everybody ended up getting by me.
At one point, it seemed like an old NESCS moto, or NESCS with you and John Dowd. You guys grew up together, and now here you are all these years later, racing again in your 30s.
Yeah, John and I have been, you know, good friends for a long time and battling all the time. And I just want to go and battle with him out there. Just beat him.
All right, good luck, Doug.
All right, thanks.
I like that. You know, it really gives you a sense of what's going on in Doug's mind. He's out there to have a good time, and you know, you still can't just put that competitiveness away, though. He still has a few little goals out there.
He had a better time than 17 other riders.
That's right.
He did a darn good job for just jumping on the tour. Ricky Carmichael to the inside. Greg Albertine next to him. Tim Ferry next to him. Hugging that ridge. Carmichael. A good start once again for Villeman. And look at Phil Lawrence will get credit for the whole shot. Number 50, Phil Lawrence. He's riding for Jeff Emmig's team. David Villeman, though, taking over the lead with Ricky Carmichael moving into second place. Lawrence moves back to third. So Villeman, for the second straight time, is out in front of Ricky Carmichael. We'll see if it's deja vu, maybe. Ricky's going to try to take him as quickly as possible. Already banging on the back wheel. Ricky Carmichael making him feel the presence of a would-be champion.
Well, I wonder what's going through the mind of Phil Lawrence. He's a great rider. Gets the whole shot, and both Villeman and RC come by him in a fight of their own. That must be pretty incredible. See those guys come by like a storm and just disappear.
He was 93. That's Damian Platz.
Bad start for Larry Ward and Doug Henry this time.
Now we'll see what kind of conditioning Doug Henry's in as he gets a really tough start.
Looked like Tim Ferry kind of nursing it around there towards the back of the pack as well. So keep our eye on that.
Villeman trying to pull away from Ricky Carmichael this time. He would love to get that overall victory before the season ends.
This is the roughest I've seen this track in a long time. Ricky hitting all kinds of holes, getting a little squirrely right there.
Well, Greg Albertine in third, Larocco in fourth.
You know, let's move. Let's move from here. I don't like
Gutsy cameraman on our crew, I'll tell you.
Yeah, these guys are using up the entire racetrack, trying to find a good spot to get by. Not a good start for Kevin Windham either. I mean, what happened to his starts? Early in the year, he was the man off the line.
Well publicized. He's going to Suzuki next year. There's Greg Albertine. Albertine looks like he wants to challenge Ricky Carmichael. Oh, Villeman with a mistake. Carmichael just not in a good position to take advantage of it. Can he now? Villeman looking to the side, making sure before he makes the left-hander.
Look at him get that power down to the ground. And you know he's thinking about getting that wheel down on the backside of some of these jumps and just showering the face of Ricky Carmichael with rocks. That's what I'd be thinking. The heck with this guy.
Villeman's consistency in the last three races, counting this one, has been tremendous. If he'd have been able to sustain that after the first three races of the season as they go back and forth, Carmichael and Villeman. Well, he's still in the points race.
It's the only way I can think to beat Ricky Carmichael. Whoa.
Whoa, hey, let him know you're here. Swing out a wheel. Ricky Carmichael moves into the lead.
What a statement. Reaches up, adjusts everything. I want to see that again. Ricky just whipped that back in. He had to jump faster, still landed in the same place to make the pass. Plus did a little cross up, and Villeman looked like he looked over at him.
Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, here it is. Watch Ricky hits this plateau faster and doesn't go any higher. Look at that. Villeman looks over at him going, all right, I don't know how you're doing this. I'm going as fast as I can.
They both land about the same time, but Ricky Carmichael had the power on the landing.
You know, these guys are starting to shove the bike down on the face of the jump. Look at Albertine starting to gain ground now. These three have really opened it up over the rest of the pack. But there's a new technique. I mean, it's been around a while, but you're starting to see it. It's a lot more visual now, looking at the way Ricky and some of the other riders, Jeremy as well, Windham, they shove that bike down on the face of the jumps to stay low. I mean, they're pushing it down so hard. It almost looks like they're going to crash on the takeoff.
Well, Jeremy McGrath, with his success in Supercross, has made everybody think about getting the power down to the ground quicker. And that's really what he brought over from BMX his rookie year.
Oh, Albertine going off the racetrack right there. Gets back on, doesn't make up any time. I guess that's cool. Every once in a while, these guys get squirrely. Yeah, Ferry did have a problem.
Davies right there.
Guys, Tim Ferry pulled into the pits. That Chaparral Motorsports team boss Larry Brooks holding the back of his bike. Ferry's pulling out. He was involved in a first lap crash. So was Kevin Windham. So was Doug Henry. So was Larry Ward. It's not out if you see that many big names go down on the first lap.
So it's unfortunate for number 15, Tim Ferry, but Ricky Carmichael, as planned, out in front. Villeman, Albertine, Larocco, and King, the top five.
You know, ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? If so, Invention Submission Corporation has information to help you get started. ISC is America's largest inventor service firm. Call now and learn how to submit your idea to companies through ISC's databank and apply for a patent. Even if your idea is just to improve an existing product, call for ISC's free information.
For your inventor's information, call 1-800-652-0101.
He's upside down. This one has to go like that.
Some children imagine that their father is the most powerful man in the world. Wonder where they got that idea. The 300-horsepower Silverado. The truck from Chevrolet.
Welcome back to the second 250 moto from Binghamton, New York. And Albertine, #1, trying to put some pressure right now on David Villeman. Villeman in second place behind Ricky Carmichael. Albertine is really mixing it up well. And here's Mike LaRocco.
Shane King getting those good starts all the time. You see those guys are 13 seconds back already. Try to make that up on Carmichael. It's just not going to happen. And I talked about the bad starts of all the guys, and Davey pointed out they were all involved in a first lap crash. So that explains why Wyndham and the guys are so far behind.
And Damon Huffman is 34.5 seconds back of the leader on the Suzuki stopwatch. There's Wyndham at 39.16. A tough way to end the season in 24th place.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to get motivated at that point when you realize that you're not going to do much in the championship points race as far as moving up. The title's gone, and you get a start like that, getting involved in a crash, and you still have to find the motivation to get back up there. That's hard to do.
With Albertine in third, let's check in with his mechanic to get his views.
Joe, a little bit better start for Greg this time. He's also put some pressure on Villeman.
Yeah, we had a real bad start the first moto. He rode well, so instead of he got a good start, he thinks he can run with Ricky. So hopefully we'll catch him.
I got to tell you, from what we've seen this summer, it seems like today he's really picked up the pace, really being aggressive.
Yeah, I think this is the best weekend for him all year long. He's feeling strong. His leg ain't bothering him. He wants to win a race.
If he wins one, you think he'll have second guesses about quitting?
Hope so.
Well, I'd like to see him come back, but I don't think there's any question that he's announced a retirement. He's told his sponsors he's getting ready for the Motocross the Nations. South Africa has a team this year, especially with Grant Langston winning the 125 GPs. So Greg's looking to have some fun over there in France.
That'd be a nice way to cap things off. He's sure polishing off this season.
Look at that.
So aggressive up around the outside, puts him on the inside to make the pass. And Villeman's no slouch. Guy can pick great lines, ride rough tracks, but he's just not going fast enough right now. He's trying to look for lines, I think maybe a little bit too much, and Albie's just pinning it everywhere. He doesn't care if he hits holes.
There you saw Ricky Carmichael in the interval between Carmichael and Albertine already starting to pull away from Villeman as Mike LaRocco approaches Villeman from behind. But a second place for Greg Albertine in this moto would mean that he would end up with his best overall finish of the year, a second place performance behind the 1-1 sweep of Ricky Carmichael, should it stay this way.
Now LaRocco's really starting to close now on Villeman, so I don't think David is. You talked about making some changes to the bike for the second moto and using some better lines, and it doesn't seem to be coming together right now.
LaRocco, 5th in the point standings. This would be the 11th time in 13 years that he's been in top 5 in either 125 or 250 class. Just a consistent performer and also a former 250 and 500 champion. Mike LaRocco, #5 on the AMSOIL Honda.
See how fast he got over that big braking bump into that right-hand corner. He just landed leg out in the corner on the gas. You can see why he's making up time right now. He's charging so hard. He looks smooth while he's doing it.
A lot of people talk about John Dowd being the old veteran because of his advanced age for this sport anyway. But Mike LaRocco, as years of service, would have to give him the old-timer crown.
He's been so competitive for so long.
#17, Robbie Raynard in 5th place right now. He's got 2 podiums on the year. The last one was at Washougal when he had a really fine hole shot in the second moto on way to a 3rd place finish. Oh, look at that. Travis Pastrana. Travis Pastrana took the board away from Tony Berluti and was waving Robbie Raynard on.
He's everywhere. I mean, it's just like he's having more fun than any kid I've ever seen.
Let's go down to Davey.
Travis, you're a busy guy. We've seen you board for Kenny Bartram this year. Now you're boarding for Robbie Raynard, and you do a little racing yourself.
Yeah, trying to fit the racing in there somewhere, but Robbie's one of my best friends. Stay with him all winter. He's got more potential than anyone on the track. He's got to get in his head that he can do it. So I put on there, go faster.
I like that. You know, that's got to make him feel like he feels during the week when those guys are out having fun and when there's no pressure, you're able to go so much faster. Your potential, he's able to reach that potential during the week on Wednesday when it doesn't really matter. And to see Travis out there signaling him probably kind of anchors him back to those days when he can get more out of himself than he really had.
And there's nothing like a little bit of peer pressure as we take a look at the 2001 series schedule. It's the same order as the 2000 version, but hold on to everything. We still have 2 titles this year to give out. We'll be right back.
Over 1 million stomachs have gotten tighter with 8-minute abs. And to celebrate our success, we created 8-minute 2000 total body workout.
I went from this flabby spare tire to a washboard stomach. Thanks, 8-minute abs.
We've combined 8-minute abs, arms, legs, and 8-minute buns in a super intense 8-minute workout for only $19.95. Flatten those abs, shape those buns, and tone your arms and legs. Call now and we'll include a free $5 rebate. That's right, you get total body workout for only $14.95 with rebate. Call 1-800-257-5700.
These guys are different. I mean, you can tell. They take pride in what they do. They moved our entire family, everything we own, across the country. Now that's a big job. I was worried, but they got us there on time. They made a promise, and they kept it. They're JK Moving and Storage. I know, it's not rocket science, but they treat it like it is. JK Moving and Storage. These guys are different. They really care.
What the hell's going on out here?
Before Lombardi came to Green Bay, the Packers were a laughing stock.
Lombardi definitely wanted to be the best.
That's the kind of a guy he was, an egomaniac.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing.
He ruled by fear.
He took the spirit of the sport and elevated it.
Vince Lombardi, Sports Century, the top 50 and beyond. Tomorrow at 8, kicking off a week of sports legends, only on ESPN Classic. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
Welcome back to Binghamton, New York. Final moto of the day, and the 250s are underway. Ricky Carmichael is well on his way to a championship. He's out in front, but this is the battle for 3rd. David Villeman looks back. He sees Mike LaRocco giving him all kinds of pressure. Gary Bailey get out of our shot. He's filming him too.
He's got the better camera angle. He's in there closer anyway.
Yeah. Not for long, however, if our producer gets wind of it. LaRocco makes the pass on Villeman.
You know what? I've never seen Villeman struggle like this. I mean, he just looks like he's not in the line he wants to take. He's hitting bumps he doesn't want to hit. And usually that's his strength, picking lines, missing stuff, and making everybody else follow what he's doing. But it's just not coming together for him.
What a good finish on the season, though, from Mike LaRocco. After a very good Supercross season. The guy's been 3 decades in 250 racing. And here's our leader, Ricky Carmichael. I don't know what you can say more than what we've already said about this kid. If he wins here today, he ties Bob Hanna's record of 8 wins in a season. He ties Rick Johnson with 33 national wins. That's 4th on the all-time list. But look at the time he's been riding.
Yeah, his percentage looks real good. We've talked about Jeremy McGrath indoors, comparing his win percentage to Jeff Gordon when he was doing so well in NASCAR, and Ricky's got that going on here in the outdoors.
Kevin Windham, number 14, finishing out the season with Honda before moving to Suzuki. Tortelli, he'll be back with Team Honda next year.
One more try at this title. I mean, seems like the guy's got the speed and the conditioning and the desire. Just bad luck his last couple of years.
He's had trouble fitting everything together, that's for sure, especially after mid-season, where the injury took him out last year. Let's take a look now at this week's Honda profile. As the 2000 AMA Motocross season is winding down, Team Honda's Sebastian Tortelli is preparing for the Olympics of motorcycle racing, the Motocross des Nations. The Nations this year will be held in his home country of France.
I know the track out there. I was used to ride on it when I was a kid. So, yeah, I'm very excited, and we have a very good team, so I'm looking forward for that race.
Joining Tortelli on Team France is the AMA 125 points leader, Stefan Roncada, as well as this year's World 250 motocross champion, Frédéric Bollé, making the French team the odds-on favorites at this year's competition.
I think we're one of the strongest teams, so I think we're one of the favorites. I mean, there's some other good team out there, and that's our own country, and France never won. So, I mean, everything is like, maybe now it's time to win, and, we put everything together so we can make it probably.
The former world champion has raced in 3 Motocross des Nations and has always had consistent results.
First time I won in 125, and second time I finished second behind Lamy, and third time I got a big crash and I had to be in it because I broke my front wheel. And second moto, I had a lousy start and came back from dead last to fourth probably.
While he usually does well at the world's most prestigious motocross race, Tortelli may always be remembered for his spectacular get-off at last year's event in Brazil.
I think, sometimes you get small crash and you hurt yourself, and sometimes you get big crash and you have nothing. And that time I had nothing at all, not even a bruise.
Although Tortelli's going home for the 2000 race, he's going there to take care of business and not for pleasure.
We're going to go, like pretty close track and, finalize the bike because we have different fuel to race out there. So as soon as the bike going to be set up, probably I'm going to ride on Wednesday on the same track as the American going to ride. I mean, it looks like we are always together, but I'm going to ride out there also and, finalize the bike and make sure everything is ready for the race.
Boy, France got an awesome team, but hey, I'd never rule out Pastrana and the man, RC.
You know what? I just have a feeling that this year the U.S. is finally going to put it back together. It's just been long enough. We haven't won it in a while, and the desire and just the miraculous things that Pastrana's been able to do this year with the experience of Ryan Hughes over there, knowing that track as well, I think we got a great shot.
Doug Henry came into this race wanting 1 point. Looks like you'll get more than that. Look at our Suzuki trivia question. Which year did Cooper win the 125 title? The answer when we return.
ESPN the magazine. Stuart Scott wants the fleece. Booyah! Stuart, only brand new subscribers get the free fleece.
Everyone wants our warm, roomy fleece pullover. It's free with your paid subscription to ESPN the magazine.
Maybe you want to take out another subscription.
Call now for ESPN the magazine. Get 26 issues, a year's worth for just $1 an issue. And your fleece pullover is free.
1-800-491-1441.
Hey, Lou, good-looking place. But if you want more energy on the field, you gotta have more energy in your music. Well, that's good stuff. Hey, by the way, pull your tackle a little bit deeper. Good luck.
It's our final moto of today. Ricky Carmichael looking to be awarded his first 250 #1 plate. But right now, here's the battle for fourth behind him. And David, Robbie Rayner must have been inspired with Travis Pastrana's pit board.
I guarantee you he was. I mean, it sounds stupid and silly and all that, but I'm telling you, it makes a difference. He's out there going, yeah, this is cool. I am fast. I remember how good I was going last Thursday, and here it is.
So Robbie moves into fourth, passing David Villeman. And our leader and soon-to-be 250 champion, Ricky Carmichael.
Well, he must sense this. He's got to know.
Here's the answer to our Suzuki trivia question. What year did Guy Cooper win the 125 National Championship? It was in 1990. Of course, the 125 title goes down to the final race of the year in Belmont with Stefan Roncada leading Pastrana by only 6 points. Our final lap for Ricky Carmichael. Here last year, he had a 1-1 sweep. Broke his own record of 14 moto wins in a season with his 15th on way to winning 18 of the 24 motos that year. Won the title 98 with a 4th overall here at Binghamton. He also won another race here in 1997 with a 2-1 on the 125. He'd already won the title. It was his 8th victory of the year at that time. Right now, here today, he has a chance for 4 consecutive AMA National Outdoor titles. That is an awesome figure. The checkers for Ricky Carmichael. He's also carrying the banner for all of those 250 Florida riders who wished they'd have won a title in the National Outdoors, because he is the first Floridian ever to win the 250 motocross title.
How sweet it is for Ricky Carmichael. I talked with him before this outdoor season got started, and it was as though he expected to win this championship. And I thought, well, you're up against some tough competition, bud, but he came out here and proved he is #1 outdoors.
Ricky Carmichael takes the #1 plate. We'll hear from the champ when we return.
So what's on for today?
Boss wants you, me, and Charlie to take the new Silverado and move them bales.
Is that Charlie?
Chevy Silverado has the most powerful V8 of any 4x4 pickup.
Then we gotta water the herd.
300 horses make it more powerful.
If there's any daylight left, we'll take Norm up to see the ladies.
More powerful than Ford and Dodge. That's why it's the truck. Silverado from Chevy.
Well, guess that's enough for today.
Suzuki saves you work, saves your skin, and now your money. Because now during Quad Fair, when you pick up a selected Suzuki Quad Runner ATV like the automatic Quadmaster 500, you'll get a Super Winch for just $49.99. Plus great financing like 0 down and 9.95 APR. But hurry in. Suzuki can save a lot of things, but not this deal.
It's MLS playoffs on ESPN2. The postseason kicks into action when star players clash on the field, looking to make the crucial save or drill the winning goal. MLS playoffs begin Thursday at 8 on ESPN2.
The Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross Series is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by the world's most popular ATVs, Honda, best on earth. And by Suzuki, makers of innovative motorcycles and ATVs. Ricky Carmichael wins the championship with the sweep. Albertine gets his best overall finish of the year in 2nd. Larocco equals his finest finish in 3rd. Let's go to Davey.
Well, Ricky, not bad for a day's work. It's your 5th national win in a row, 33 for your career, and not to mention another national championship. Congratulations, #1 again.
Thanks, Davey. Feels great to win the championship today. I had Steel City stuck in my mind, you know. Didn't expect to happen here, and can't say enough for my sponsors. Kawasaki Chevy Trucks, Oakley, Fox, everyone at Fox, Scott Taylor, everybody. Oakley, Johnny O, you know, he's taking care of me, and, you know, thanks. Man, THQ, Schwinn, Aeronautique, Kicker, Bridgestone Tires, you know, everybody, man. I'm kind of speechless right now. I don't know what to say.
Well, let's let Duke Finch, AMA Pro Racing Motocross Manager, step in and give you something.
Ricky. Congratulations, Rick. Anybody had any doubt on your 250 ride, and we put that aside? Again, congratulations on behalf of the AMA and all your fans.
Thanks a lot, Duke. Thanks. It feels good. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, let's get Scott Taylor in here. He's got something for you too, Rick.
Well, I'd like to thank Scott. I was wondering if he had one this weekend or what, but it'll be great to have that on my back next year.
So while Ricky Carmichael takes the championship and Greg Albertine and Mike LaRocco have some of their finest races of the season, Doug Henry also picked up 12 national points instead of just 1. Let's go back to David.
Greg, I know you got one more race in this season. I tell you what, today was as if you went out as a champion. Good job.
Oh, thanks, Davey. I really felt good out there, and, you know, I just feel like I got to give it a last push before the end. It's kind of nostalgic, and, you know, I would love to go out with a win, and all credit to Ricky. He had an incredible year, really deserved the championship. I'm not happy to give this #1 plate away, but if anyone deserved it, he did.
Ricky Carmichael takes the championship, and he takes a 75-point lead going into the final round of the year in Belmont. When going back to the amateur ranks and seeing Ricky Carmichael take 8 Loretta Lynn's championships, you're never quite positive what he might do when graduating to the pros.
I'll tell you what he did. He stepped right into the 125 national championship, and he won it his first time out. He backed it up with 2 more, ties Mark Barnett for the all-time winningest. Graduates in the 250 class. I thought it would take him a year or 2 to reach the dominance that he's had this year. But
join us again next Sunday for another edition of the Sports Reporters.